Hey, Heirs and Master fans, we're back with more hobby material today. This is Avacyn Restored, but it's just the box topper with some cards I won at auction here. So these are just completely unknown exactly what the material is. We're going to try and get them out of here without dumping them. And we're just going to go through a few of them at a time. It does look like it is from the Avacyn set. We got some uncommons here to start. Deep Fire, Sprouting Thrinax, Jun Charm, Golgari Guildmage. Not a bad card. Rough and Tumble. Carnage Altar, not bad. Vivid Grove. And we got some commons. Obelisk of Jund. Armillary Sphere. Rupture Spire. Terramorphic Expanse. Colony Garden. A Gate. Alright. Evolving Wilds. Lots of nice lands there. Bunch of land. It looks like we have some Time Spiral in the mix here as well. Brute Force, Revered Dead. Got a few Japanese cards here. Commons. I don't recognize that set, but I do know it's a little older. Ooh, a Reflex Sliver. Those are always nice. White Mane Lion, Midnight Charm, Synchronous Sliver. Loving some slivers. Pallid Microderm. Common. Alright, so we got a Llanowar Empath, some Japanese cards in here, which is kind of cool. Time Spiral, Kithkin Rebel, Daggerback Basilisk, some tokens, lots of tokens, 8 mana cost, creature of some kind. Interesting, I'll have to translate that. Commons, anyway. That's a Mana Rock. Pretty sure. Some interesting cards. Older. Liking the art. Always fun to run into some foreign language cards. Let's see. It looks like we got a fair amount more in here. All commons. Nothing earth-shattering with commons. There's a Planeswalker or two. All commons, all Japanese. Interesting cards. Alright. We've cleared through those. Let's flip these about. Looks like we're getting into a couple of other sets here. Merfolk Soldier with a multi-kicker. Paradise Plume. This is a great uncommon. It's in a lot of my decks. Etherweb, Ethercast Knight, commons. Some uncommons from Core Set 12. Nothing great. Guild Pact, Llanowar Augur, great card. Nothing rare yet. All commons. All from around the same era. Still like to go through the older cards, regardless of whether they're common or not. And here's an uncommon. Compulsive Research. This is, I see this in Commander quite a bit. It's a land card stuck to it. Oh, here we go. Darkness. This is a cool card from Time Spiral. I do like that card quite a bit. Let's set it off to the side there. And what do we got? Evolving Wilds. Very common to see in Commander play. And here we go. Mage Ring Network. I actually don't know this card. Pay to put storage counters so you can add more mana later. Kind of handy. Probably a little bit better in casual than Commander these days, but it's alright. I'm sure there's uses for it I'm not thinking of. Obviously these are somebody's because they got some dust in there. Oketra's Attendant. Alright. Got some more commons here. True Heart Duelist, uncommon. I'm going to guess most of these are common, uncommon. As are, for those of us who are into Magic, are most of our collections, I'm sure. I don't know, unless you're a single card buyer who likes to research every set. This is a nice card. You probably, if you're a pay-to-play kind of person, you probably have a lot more rares, mythics, etc. than common, uncommon, but I've always been a buy-the-pack kind of guy, so I don't mind the commons. Definitely makes for an interesting pick-up and play. I like to go through my cards at random and then just build a deck out of whatever I find. And sometimes it's pretty fun. It's a cool kill card. Mutagenic Growth. That's interesting. It's an interesting mechanic. This was during an era I wasn't playing Magic, so it's kind of nice to see some cards I would not have been exposed to otherwise. Core set 13 in here. 12. Now I'm guessing at some point somebody was liquidating their collection. That's why this ended up going to auction. I'd have to look up every card, and I'm simply just not going to do that. But I'm thinking, given that I got about 30,000 cards in this auction, there's probably not a lot of high dollar stuff. Oh, Mind Rot, that's a fun card. Probably not a lot of expensive stuff. Angel's Mercy, loved that card back in the day. But there's always good things, and you know, the one thing like this Bountiful Harvest reprint is if you play Commander, you know, there's a lot of good Commander decks you can build with inexpensive cards. And the more the merrier. If you have friends who want to learn the game, it's always fun to build a deck with new players and show them how it's done, whether it's a 60 card play. Here's your little event deck insert from Avacyn. It's always fun to just sit back and make either a bad Mander deck or a cheap deck just to see how good you can make it without having, you know, 50, 100, 150, or, you know, some people pay a lot of monies to build their Commander decks. But so far I haven't come across any legends. Typically those are rares. But you never know. There are uncommon commanders. It's a nice card. Alright, so we're about halfway through this bulk lot here. Trying to go fast, because I know you guys don't want to sit around for another half hour and watch me go through just a non-unbox. This is just a pile of cards, basically, but it's always interesting to see. Yeah, somebody definitely bought a box and then just threw these in there. Don't know if they did it just to pull out anything that might be valuable and they didn't actually play, or if this is just a bulk from a shop that needed to clear out some inventory, or maybe a shop that closed up, and they kept the rares to sell individually, which is kind of smart, honestly. This is an interesting piece of equipment. Something to consider. Kind of a high cost, but this is a great card. Really enjoy this card. Negate, very common in Commander, common in all types of play that are casual. You can always do a lot with control cards. Elvish Visionary. Yeah, some really nice reprints. This is a decent equipment. Krenko. I have a whole Commander deck built around Krenko. Wait, let's attach the spirit. Oh, just an island. One thing about buying these big bulks is you can always sell these at like a penny a piece too. So really at 30,000 cards, if I sold each one for a penny, I'm going to get my money back. I don't really plan on selling them because I am a collector of Magic. And I do love to play the game when I get a chance, but I always take some solace in the fact that for what I spent on this, which was just over $80, I really can't go wrong for the volume. Hopefully, though, I would like to find some rares or something that I can make into a commander deck or boost one of my existing decks, but plenty of fun and interesting cards. And I always grew up playing 60 card deck casual play back before Commander was even a format. So I still like to play that way, and you can do a lot when you have some of these duplicates, especially for stuff like Battlehome's a good one. Him is a good one. If you're playing a Goblin deck, I mean, this becomes really, really useful. Or any kind of like a red-white with a quick creature drum up right in the beginning, which is not that uncommon for white these days. It used to be less common, but Magic is not as it was when I started playing back in the mid-90s. Yep, again, still not finding anything too great. Natural End is a nice card. A lot of reprints of that one, but the artwork is always really cool. Scrolls, Corpse Traders, Abundant Growth. Just a great card. I don't know about any of you out there who collect, but what I did was I purchased one of those cardboard boxes that you see or used to see at the card shops that just holds like huge quantities in those cardboard sleeve holders. And then there's like a box with a matrix, and I just split it up by color. It does take a while, and I've even seen shops that go through and alphabetize after that. It seems like a waste of time because you get enough people going through it, they're going to mix stuff around. Not a bad card. But this is pretty good. Spectral Prison is a good card. This is something I've seen played in Commander quite a bit. And you never know when something's going to become popular in Commander. I know I sat on Ristic Study for forever playing Prophecy back in the day because I could never find a use for it in play. Then all of a sudden it blew up in Commander. Now I've got probably 30 copies of it, and it sells at about, well, last I checked it was $15, $18 a piece, maybe even more now. Unless it's fallen out of favor, in which case it'll be back to virtually nothing, but it's all right. It's like anything else. If you hold on to it long enough, eventually it'll probably have some value. Although there are certainly cards that Homelands will never be worth anything because they were always that terrible. Homelands, Fallen Empires, sorry. I did like those sets at the time, but I was foolish. Yeah, I don't think we're going to find anything too great. Oh, and Unsummoned's always nice to see. One of my favorite original OG Magic cards that they just can't seem to quit, but it's such a great card. Unhallowed Pact. Oh, I see a Core 2011. I do kind of miss when they called them the editions, though. 4th edition was a personal favorite. Seraph Sanctuary. Non-basic lands have a lot of use in Commander play, so I'm not going to complain about finding some non-basics. Cool. Horror of the Broken Lands. That's an interesting artwork. I like that. All right, we are down to the very bitter end of this Avacyn Restored box. A little fuzz in there, some forests. You gonna find anything? Another Abundant Growth. Nope, not a single rare in the entire box. But I will say, it's always nice to see a Darkness.